Maybach music.
Can anybody out there hear me? Hear me?
It was forced to make an emergency return to Dublin Airport yesterday after a fault caused a fire to break out. The flight was destined for Florida in the USA, but was forced to return after loud bangs were heard from the engine. The plane was safely met by Dublin Airport's Fire and Rescue Service and airport police and was escorted to a standstill at the terminal after it landed. Airlingers have confirmed that passengers departed for their location 3 hours later.
And they tell you the truth, like always.
The alien ambassador was already here.
Whoa.
Not her. Him.
Hey, what's up, dude? You're an alien? All famous people are aliens. I'm not. I meant like really famous people.
It's just so obvious. I'll show you more in a second. But really quick, let me ask you this. Why is every Super Bowl, every Olympics, and any other main event always consumed by aliens? And of course, they're showing the mantis aliens. Teen girl abducted by praying mantis aliens. And this right here was the first alien commercial for this Super Bowl. Look at his hand. Why would he do that? It's not rocket science, y'all. They're saying that all the famous people are alien because they're not of this earthly plane, but of this outer dimension. And you know, these white aliens are supposed to be the good aliens out of all the other aliens that help humanity. Kind of like, you know, when those fallen angels came down and helped humanity. And white trying to appear pure because, you know, Satan masquerades as an angel of light. Remember, like, Kendrick was surrounded by the people in white the entire time and they were the only ones left standing? Not everyone that looks human is human, and there's a great delusion coming in. They're straight up telling you. Remember Lil Wayne's I am not a human? And the worship of these fallen angels continue.
Daylight. I want to show you a true in-ground Earth battery. There are only 6 cells in this series versus the, I think, 16 or 18 that are on the tabletop demonstration. An example of a cell is... This is one that's not wired yet. It's just like a battery, positive, negative. The copper is the cathode, positive. Zinc is the anode, negative. The dirt itself acts as the electrolyte that passes the free electrons and creates the voltage and the current. I have these 6 wired in a series, so it'll produce far fewer volts than the 16 or 18. This will be about 1.5 volts versus the 13 volts, 14 volts. This is about the same as a AA battery. So, again, I'm doing this one-handed, so put that in there. Yep, so you saw about 1.6, 1.4, 1.5. It's about a steady 1.6. So these 6 in a series, again, it is just copper, zinc, and dirt, and the copper wire that connects it from positive, negative, in a series. So this right here is one series, 1.5 volts. So if I kept going and wired up 15 more, I would again have about 13 to 14 volts, but the current is still only about 2 amps. So I could power a inverter. I need about 10 to 12 amps, but that's the plan. I'm going to have 5 or 6 parallel series to give me the current and the voltage needed to hook up to an inverter so that I can hook up to the house and power my TV, lights, whatever, you name it. It'll have the 12 volt direct current converted to 115 volt alternating current with the amperage, and we're going to see how many devices we can power at one time. So again, this is all it is. This is free energy. Literally just copper, zinc, and dirt, and some copper wire.
Something galactically big is going on, and they're all aware of it, and all of this connects. It's actually insane. So in order to be able to understand all this, we need to go back. And we'll come right back to this, which just happened to Chelsea's performance at the Super Bowl. Right before the Olympics, we had these really crazy crop circles that had no other place but Stonehenge. Out of all places, I know, it's crazy. And you remember the theme of the Olympics, right? But first, this discovery was also made 1 month before. All this stuff is starting to line up, right? And also, that same exact month, the moon started showing the empty part and doing this crap. All in the same month. Then, of course, we had the Olympic show with the praying mantis right in front of the gray alien performing. Mantis here was known to the natives, and he always popped up before the grays came. Stay with me. And what was the shirt that Jim Carrey just popped out wearing? Yeah, the praying mantis. We've all heard the story of how it came to be, right? They almost look identical, huh?
Not her. Him.
Hey, what's up, dude? You're an alien? All famous people are aliens.
So then the Mantis makes an appearance right here when he says that all celebrities are aliens. And then we have SZA, who just performed at the Super Bowl. Then she releases her extended album. Don't give me the butterfly crap, it's a praying mantis. Because just like the native legend, the demonic meat suits are about to make an appearance. These are allegedly real. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. And every single one of these people know about it. It's a screenplay. Nah, I'm just being stupid.
We're all talking about Chelsea Clinton's wedding. I thought now might be a good time to remind you of this special guest here, right on the aisle at her wedding. That's Ghislaine Maxwell, in case you don't.
We have programmed the entire damn population to believe they're victims of their heredity. Something running in their family is genetic, like cancer. They say, well, how come they have the gene? They didn't get the cancer. And the answer is because they're not living a stressed life. Stress, and this is scientific reality, stress is responsible for over 90% of the health crisis on this planet. Genes are responsible for less than 1% of the disease on this planet. Less than 1% is connected to genetics. Children, when adopted into a family where there's cancer running in that family, the adopted child will get the same family cancer. But the point, the adopted child has totally different genetics. It was being adopted into a family where the programming of that child is what caused the cancer. There were no genes that were correlated between the family and the adopted child. And over 90% of cancer has no genetic linkage. Just all of a sudden, spontaneous cancer. It's like, no, it didn't come from genes. It came from disharmony. This is the science that I saw back in 1967 when I recognized that I can control the fate of genetically identical cells, not by changing the genes, but by changing the environment that the cells were in.
When I was showing about the drone and the thermite, that's what somebody said in the comments. That's how the Hawaii fire started.
Well, there's a guy, he made a solar ray.
This is just too funny. This lady is here. And then there she is. and this man is here. Where is he? He's here. And then he's here as well. Though my favourite one is this lady who is in front of Tao, who is behind Tao, but just doing the same face. They're quite literally doing the same face. I just don't understand. Why didn't they change their costumes? At least take off the accessories, man. Like, what?
Networks use these symbols, even to this day. The question is, why wouldn't they?
More than a dozen men, including Disney employees, are facing jail time after they're caught in an undercover sex bust. The men wanted to have sex with the underage boys and girls.
Disney workers among the 11 Bay Area men arrested and accused of keeping child pornography.
Transitioning from Disney to this was fucking easy. I don't know, getting molested for fucking from your 6 to your 14 seems like way harder circumstances.
Not talked about in the media at all. Epstein was, but this wasn't talked about at all.
He's 73 years old and he was just sentenced to 7 years. It makes you wonder, all those years, his position at Disney, being the vice president, what else has he done? I had to dig for this story, and it's not on any mainstream media news outlet anywhere. It makes you wonder, all those years, his position at Disney, being the vice president, what else has he done?
This man, Brian Peck, worked at Nickelodeon. He was convicted of raping a child on the set. And a year later, he was hired by Disney to work on the show The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Seriously, you should have some pizza later.
In 2012, he was hired by his longtime friend, Charlie Sheen, to work alongside him on the show Anger Management.
When we were growing up, it's no secret that producer's sleeping with this actress or that, or watch out for that guy, he likes little boys.
And according to Corey Feldman, both Brian and Charlie had a similar penchant for young boys.
You said Charlie Sheen raped her.
Shit, I've personally heard the story about Charlie and Corey Haim. Probably, I don't know, at least a dozen people probably in my inner circle knew.
He told me Charlie bent me over in between two trailers and put Crisco oil on my butt and raped me. In broad daylight, anybody could have walked by, anybody could have seen it.
It's difficult for a sex offender to get a job at Walmart, much less Disney, much less around kids. But somehow, Brian Peck was able to get both. How was that possible?
I've loved horror movies since I was a kid.
Director Victor Salva served only a brief stint in jail for raping a young boy and even filming some of it. He has since enjoyed a lucrative career, hired multiple times by Disney to direct feature-length films.
We ordered a bunch of pizzas and we let Sal do every weird thing he could think of to the guys who delivered them. We ordered a bunch of pizzas and we let Sal do every weird thing he could think of to the guys who delivered them. We ordered a bunch of pizzas and we let Sal do every weird thing he could think of to the guys who delivered them.
And everything I've ever known, I've ever loved, stranded.
It is not just a law enforcement problem, it is a societal problem, and we all need to work on it together.
Again, a symbol is not everything. But law enforcement is made aware of the symbology of all criminal enterprises, pedophiles included. Why did they do this? Plan International is an organization that, quote, supports thousands of children worldwide. The head of their Belgium division is Regina de Probandere.
Mesdames et messieurs les parlementaires, monsieur le ministre, c'est un grand plaisir pour moi de vous rencontrer pour témoigner des réalités vécues par les filles dans ma communauté et dans mon pays. Je m'appelle Adeline Remou, j'ai 17 ans. Et je viens du Bénin, plus précisément de la Takora, au nord du pays. Je viens d'avoir mon bac et dans quelques jours, je vais entamer des études de droit à l'université. Je veux devenir magistrat.
I remember when I was in England, we were preparing some young English boys. They're from very... preparing them for First Communion.
Cardinal George Pell, Vatican Treasurer, found guilty of child sex abuse, the most senior Vatican official ever convicted of child sex offences. He told the court Pell assaulted them after...
Enterprises, pedophiles included. Why did they do this? Plan International is an organization that, quote, supports thousands of children worldwide.
Of child sex offences. He told the court Pell assaulted them after Mass, forced him to perform oral sex on him.
It's crucial to understand that historians have provided ample evidence showing the full extent of Catholic symbology. You can go on to the very end, and you'll never find a triangle that wraps around itself, right? So why is Pope Francis wearing it? Why was the symbol embroidered in that particular shade of blue? And of all days, why on International Youth Day? Maybe the Pope's symbol here really is just a misunderstanding. But if it's not, then we have to be prepared for what that would mean about the world we live in.
Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep.
So this is when she did what anyone would do. She got her camera and began to record, and this is what she saw.
Science was purposely created to hide God. Even further, science is Gnosticism, and I will prove it. And this great scientific debate goes back to the 1st century, earlier, and even the medieval ages. But let's start here in the 1st century. Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and the vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. Now this chapter is about following the righteousness in the words of Jesus Christ and his teachers, and not falling into the vain babblings and opposition that is called science, but falsely called science. The reason for this is there is a real science which you can prove with the scientific method, but what they have is a false religion science, which is the Greek word gnosis, which is knowledge and intelligence and understanding, but remember he said falsely so-called science. Now let's look at the word gnosis, which traces back to the Greek 1st century Hellenistic religions about the sun, the moon, the stars. Go figure, huh? And this is also where we get the word Gnosticism from, which is straight up religious ideas. And today, this man-made religion is mainstream, because all this science today is theory, Big Bang, evolution, the theory of gravity, where it should be a theory of relativity and density, which isn't really a theory. Anyways, this is Martin Luther. Google hides exact quotes on this topic, but he called Copernicus and his astronomy model all the Antichrist spirit. And after this video, you now know it's a Hellenistic religion. And obviously, he was against Rome. Today's science is a cult of alchemy, divination, and sorcery.
Several other wire fells that I've seen from NASA Cinema. Maybe you remember this one from NASA Cinema, where you can see the wires unnaturally lifting the back of the astronaut's shirt, just like Buster Keaton.
And a second wire bulges at his bum when he flies. But
yeah, I'm sure that's just perfectly normal space bum bulging that just seems to match wires and harnesses. How about this one, where the astronaut on the right in the USMC shirt actually grabs the other astronaut's wire. When he grabs this invisible object, it pulls the astronaut's shirt in a very strange way.
Now, we've seen some of these before, but this is perfect for the new people that's coming to the channel and they haven't seen stuff like this. So if you've seen this, brace yourself. Yeah, we building. Like, just watch the video, sit back and relax.
That really looks like Buster Keaton, doesn't it? I also love this one, where the astronaut is hanging upside down, and the other astronaut on the right side pushes a button or something on the wall, which causes one of the wires attached to the shirt of the astronaut on the left to release. I guess he got tangled up when they were playing acrobats.
Look at his face, he knew it.
PBS actually removed this clip off of their website, and so I couldn't share the original where you can hear the mechanism, but I'm sure that's perfectly coincidental. The astronaut behind him even reaches up at the same spot to seemingly detach the shirt from the wire. Of course, you can't forget this one where it looks like the astronaut flying in the back is wearing some sort of harness. I guess that's just an everyday astronaut harness that they like to attach to their butts for some made-up science reason. This astronaut seems to twist funny like the wire is malfunctioning, and then she starts to fall before NASA cuts away. Buster Keaton comes to mind when watching that strange twisting. This is a great one where you can actually see the reflection of the wire. The reflection of the wire matches perfectly with the astronaut's movement, and it matches the bulge on his shirt. That's a classic Buster Keaton fail. This one is also hilarious as the actor from NASA accidentally gets the microphone wire tangled with her harness wire.
I haven't seen this one.
Notice how the microphone wire is caught on something invisible, and then she has to use her other arm in a strange way to detach the microphone wire from the invisible object.
Boy, they know they be going on here messing up. This shit be crazy, don't it?
Object behind her. Is there any other evidence that NASA uses wires?
She was like, oh shit, I know it's gonna go viral.
To fake space? How about this clip from an old video of mine? This company, called ZFX, which specializes in wires, stages, green screens, and performance flying. It actually looks like a pretty fun job. But you should go and check out their client list, and look who's there.
It was NASA if you couldn't see. We building, let's go. Well, before they be at my front door. But watch this.
Inside the lobby.
Was that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the planet probably?
Yeah, definitely secondary explosion.
I heard a second explosion and another rumble.
An hour later than that, we had that big explosion from much, much lower.
It just went ba-boom, it was like a bomb went off. And another explosion came right from it, just everyone flying.
There were numerous secondary explosions taking place in that building. There were continuous explosions.
No, the first explosion, then there was a second explosion in the same building. There were two explosions.
Okay.
Federal agencies that were down there do believe that there was some sort of explosive device somewhere else besides the planes hitting.
There was another explosion that took place in one of the towers here. So obviously, according to his theory, he thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building.
There was a secondary explosion, probably a device either planted before or on the aircraft that did not explode until an hour later.
Then there was some secondary explosions and then the subsequent collapses.
That the FBI most likely thinks that there was a car or truck packed with explosives underneath the buildings, which also exploded at the same time and brought both of them down.
Now that's the first time we're hearing that. So 2 planes and explosives that were in the building, is that correct?
That is the working theory at this point. That
It sounded like gunfire, bang, 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 and then all of a sudden 3 big explosions.
About 50 consecutive bangs, and it fell down like a waterfall.
And we heard the noise associated with an implosion.
We heard a very loud blast, explosion. We looked up, and the building literally began to collapse before us.
We heard a loud explosion, and at that point, building 2 was collapsing.
At that point, we heard a large boom. I looked up and just saw the building coming at us.
Do you know if it was an explosion or if it was a building collapse?
To me, it sounded like an explosion.
There was another major explosion. The building itself, literally the top of it came down.
All of a sudden, you hear explosion, and you could see the building starting to collapse.
Huge explosion that we all heard and felt.
We understand now there has been a secondary explosion on Tower 2.
According to the Associated Press, another building that has either been attacked or exploded.
The tower, rather, that has collapsed, and we are told collapsed because of a third explosion.
And about an hour later after that, there was a huge explosion at the base of the South Tower. That's the One World Trade Center, and part of the building collapsed.
We could hear a rumble, which was about 5 seconds long, preceding the actual collapse, and then a boom when each of those towers collapsed.
Just seconds ago, there was a huge explosion, and it appears right now the Second World Trade Tower has just collapsed.
I was about 5 blocks away when I heard explosions.
And then you heard from far away, boom, boom. And you heard the boom, 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 boom.
Floor by floor instead of popping out.
It was as if they had
Yeah, detonated.
Plans to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
From the corner, boom, 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 boom. Just like 20 straight hits. And as the bombs were going, people just started running, and I sat there and watched a few of them explode, and it just started going pop. It just started going boom, 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 boom. And he goes, how fast? I go like...
Now to China, at least 17 U.S. military bases near Chinese-owned farmland, reportedly seeing a surge in drone activity and sightings in recent weeks. The sightings happening near bases in Hawaii and installations in Utah, California, Maine, and Florida. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael
I've got some videos of portals opening in the sky all over the world, Booskies.
I will admit, as a friend of Ye, that I thought he was completely paranoid and crazy when he kept telling me that everyone around him was an op. He used to say, this person's an op, this person's an op, this person's an op, like, you know, like as if he was accusing them all of being feds. He even at one point questioned me when I was asking him questions and everything was coming down. He's like, are you an op? I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know anybody in Hollywood. Obviously, I'm not an op, and I thought these were just, again, paranoid delusions. But now I have a very different perspective on this. I have an understanding of what Kanye went through to get out, right? To basically sell everything, give his designs, end his marriage. Because when you leave a cult, of course, it's not easy. They try to destroy you. They try to Sigmund Freud you. They try to gaslight you. They try to call you crazy, express concern, fake friends. Even put pressure on your family. Oh man, you just need some rest. You're just going crazy. Hey, you know what? I'm your friend. I've always been your friend. We don't want this to happen to you. And then when you say, no, I'm done with this, then come all of the headlines. Then come the headlines about Hailey Bieber spending all of Justin's money. Why did he sell his catalog? Is he going to go broke? Friends are concerned. They're concerned because he's unfollowing people. Oh my God, he must be having a mental breakdown. Look, guys, it is clear that Justin Bieber wants out. He probably can't even speak out.
What is that?